Hello, Scorpio, Sun, Moon, babies, Rising, and Venus. I'm Jen with Timeline Tarot. This is your tarot card for the week of December 21st, 2025. This is a collective general reading, not individualized nor personalized to you. Messages may come through today that do not fully resonate, and if that happens, don't get upset. It just means that one message is meant for someone else. So take what fits, how it fits, leave what doesn't, and be sure to check out your other placements. If you're not sure what your other placements are, in the description box is a link where you can obtain your free birth chart. Also, in that description box is information on how you can become a time traveler. Also, I want you to keep in mind, this is not what you don't see coming for the week ahead. I already released those readings for all 12 signs. The tarot card of the week reading is intended to help all of us move forward in our respective journey. So with all of that said, let's begin. Tapping into the Scorpio collective now for Scorpio Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements. What is the tarot card of the week here for Scorpio? What is their tarot card of the week? Let's get one more shuffle here. Thank you. Your tarot card for the week is the Chariot. What signs are showing you that it is time to move forward? At the bottom of the deck, we have the Three of Pentacles. Who in your life is asking you to be open to cooperation? Okay. Why is the Chariot the tarot card of the week here for Scorpio? For Scorpio Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements. Why is the Chariot their tarot card of the week? One more shuffle here. Thank you. We have the Page of Pentacles, 10 of Pentacles, 6 of Pentacles, and the 6 of Swords. At the bottom of the deck, you have Ace of Pentacles, 10 of Cups, and King of Wands. That leaves a Queen of Swords, 3 of Wands, Hierophant, and Knight of Cups here at the bottom of the deck. Lots of Pentacle energy here for you this week. Let's begin to clarify. Why is the Page of Pentacles here for Scorpio this week? Why is the Page of Pentacles here? One more shuffle here. Thank you. The Page of Pentacles is clarified by the Page of Wands, the 6 of Wands, and the 2 of Swords. 10 of Pentacles. Why is the 10 of Pentacles here for Scorpio? One more shuffle. Thank you. 10 of Pentacles clarified by 9 of Pentacles, 4 of Cups, and the Ace of Cups. Excuse me, I just feel like I need to clear my throat. 6 of Pentacles. Why is the 6 of Pentacles here? One more shuffle. Thank you. 6 of Pentacles, clarified by King of Swords, 2 of Cups, and the 5 of Wands. And the 6 of Swords. Why is the 6 of Swords here? One more shuffle. Thank you. 6 of Swords, clarified by the World card, the King of Pentacles, and the Wheel of Fortune. Okay. Ace of Pentacles, 10 of Cups, and the King of Wands. Can you just put this in some perspective here for me? A little bit more clarification on that for Scorpio. One more shuffle. Thank you. Clarified by the 8 of Wands, the 4 of Pentacles, and the Queen of Swords shows themselves again. Bottom of the deck, 9 of Swords, the Magician, 9 of Wands, and the Queen of Pentacles. Okay. I feel like you have a connection here in your life. Friend, family member, lover, your boss, your neighbor. I don't know who this person is to you. You do, though. Whatever this connection has been for you up until this point, you have learned a lot from it. Page of Pentacles. It has taught you a lot. It has revealed a lot to you. In fact, it has revealed itself to you in ways that weren't very pleasing. I have a suspicion here that this connection has actually been quite difficult for you in your life. Now, for some of you, this is someone currently in your life, and for others of you, this is someone who's no longer in your life, but had a resounding impact on it. You learned a lot about yourself, for good and for bad. Page of Wands. This is a card of discovery. It taught you how to best show up in that type of connection. Again, whether it's professional, platonic, or romantic. 6 of Wands. Now that you're armed with this information, it's new information for you. Now you're no longer undecided about how you will show up either in this connection, if it's still in your life, or in another connection that will be similar to it in the future. So I feel like whoever this individual was for you, you learned a lot about yourself. And I think that was the intended purpose for this individual, whether they're currently in your life or not. It's like you learned a lot of relational strategies and tactics and what works and what doesn't work and conflict resolution. So regardless of the length of time this person was in your life, I think you learned a lot from this individual. 10 of Pentacles, clarified by the 9 of Pentacles, the 4 of Cups, and the Ace of Cups. I feel like the one main component here that came out of this particular connection is that you are okay without it in your life. I think for some of you, there was a codependency here at play. And that may have been how you showed up in connections in the past. I go to work, just as an example, I'm very loyal to this boss. They could be a terrible boss. Maybe they don't pay me what I'm worth, but I enter the position with this level of loyalty for this other individual. Like, I'm so grateful that they gave me the job that I tend to not see some of the red flags or the way they treat other people, or maybe even at times the way they treat me. I think what you learned here, again, just using work as an example, was I'm really strong on my own. I bring a lot to the table. And if that boss is not able to work with me in a way that is beneficial to them and to me, I have everything I need to go out and find another job. Like, I don't have to put up with bad behavior. And I also don't have to counter their bad behavior by behaving poorly myself or reacting poorly. So I think you learned some finesse here. I think you learned how to show up, conflict resolution. I think you also discovered parts of yourself that you didn't realize, like maybe you were behaving erratically or just quickly responding to the other entity. I think you learned patience in that Page of Pentacles, but then I also think you learned that you have the ability to move forward or move on from it if required. Basically, what this entity taught you was not to expect less and accept less than what you deserve. Essentially, what this entity taught you was the act of self-love through some difficulty, no less. This individual, whoever they are, this soulmate, again, for some of you, they're still in your life, and for some of you, they aren't. But what you learned was reciprocity. What you learned is that if I go to work every day, and this is my job title, and these are all the responsibilities that fall underneath it, if I perform those to the best of my ability, and at times even beyond that, I'm supposed to be adequately paid and compensated. I'm not supposed to stay at the same pay rate 5 years in a row, doing that job title and all those responsibilities, and maybe even taking on some more responsibilities that come, with the job, as time marches on, but not be adequately paid for them. This entity was supposed to teach you reciprocity. It was supposed to teach you how you can speak up for what you want from a healed place, not from a reactive place. I can't believe you're not effing paying me, but I feel like what this entity actually taught you was this really valuable lesson of being able to speak clearly and authentically and calmly about what you want, and then being able to rationally make the decision that, hey, if this entity cannot cooperate with me, then I have everything it takes to go out there and find another job. And I don't even have to abruptly quit this one. Again, we're just using work as an example. I think in the past, prior to this entity, and probably within the connection with this person, when reciprocity was not given, when you felt like you were being cheated or shorted or not paid adequately, or this person was not investing the time, the energy, or maybe even the love into the connection with you equal to what you were giving it, I think you were very quick to enter conflict with this entity, because that was your defense mechanism for saying, hey, this is not right. This doesn't feel right. This doesn't look right in my paycheck, etc., etc. I don't think it's so much taught you like conflict resolution skills in the sense of like, I'm not going to defend myself moving forward because every time I do, it caused an argument. I think instead the valuable lesson that you learned is that I can move forward and get what I want, provided I address the conflict, or I address the lack of cooperation, or I address the lack of reciprocity differently. That's what pulls me out of chaos and conflict. Sometimes speaking up is a good thing, but it also depends on how we speak up and when we speak up. And I think that's what this entity here was supposed to teach you. How to speak up, when to know your worth, and that you could do it in a way that is non-combative. And you also don't have to wait until, the final straw breaks the camel's back, so to speak. So this entity taught you, because that's the lesson, right, in the World card, that you can actually get what you want, either through approaching the subject or situation with this entity differently, or that you are capable of moving forward and finding it elsewhere on your own, even if it's within you. So let's put this in the context of a relationship. You enter this relationship, and because of past dealings, past relations, and we'll just keep this romantic, right, just for as a general example. In the past, when you entered a connection, a romantic connection, you may have felt at the onset, well, this should be reciprocal. And the first couple of times something occurs and it doesn't feel good inside, you kind of bit your tongue. You didn't really say anything. You pushed it down, you suppress it. You make excuses for the other, for your partner's lack of cooperation. In that lack of cooperation, not only did you learn, hey, possibly this person cannot give me what it is that I want, you also started realizing, or at least that's your message for this week, you started realizing maybe the way I was addressing their lack of reciprocity is also an issue. Maybe I waited too long to say something. And then by the time I did say something, it kind of came out like verbal diarrhea and arguments and discord. And, we're slaying one another in Five of Swords kind of energy. So whether this person is in your life or not, I think what you learned is if I'm going to continue engaging with this person, or I'm going to enter another relationship, romantic partnership in the future, I'm going to address reciprocity differently. I'm also going to address reciprocity differently at the first moment that I feel that I'm no longer receiving it. I can give someone a benefit of the doubt once, twice, but after that, I need to say something, because if I continue to suppress it, then I'm just repeating the same cycle. And even though this is a different person and a different relationship, the result will be the same. It's going to crash and burn in a fiery argument over reciprocity. And that other entity then gets very defensive and says, well, you never complained about this before. So I think whoever this person was for you, again, professional, platonic, or romantic, I think you learned the valuable lesson of, one, knowing your worth, and two, I think you learned new ways on how to communicate what it is that you want, need, and desire, and how to resolve that conflict when you're not receiving what you want, need, or desire, or at least that was the intended purpose for this person in your life. Ace of Pentacles, 10 of Cups, and the King of Wands. It's like now that you're armed with this new experience, this newfound information, you're able now to enter connections and existing connections in a more balanced way, in a way that's more authentic to you. And now you can more carefully monitor your happiness and speak out for it when you realize that it's not there. So again, this would be like entering another romantic partnership, armed with all of these tools that you've learned from the past connection, and saying, as that King of Wands, I'm taking the inspired action to take another leap of faith in love. But this time, because I'm armed with what occurred back here, I'm going to protect the 10 of Cups a little bit differently. I'm going to approach it a little bit differently. I'm not putting it directly in the other person's hands that they have to create that 10 of Cups for me. The 10 of Cups is something that we build together. As long as we are actively cooperating and investing in that, then the 10 of Cups can be achieved. The moment I start feeling like the 10 of Cups, we're either not attaining it or we have attained it, but there's an inability to maintain it, I'm going to go back. And this kind of all happens without you really thinking about it, right? Sort of becomes like instinctual. It's like I'm going to go back to what happened last time, and I'm going to address it differently. 8 of Wands, I'm going to address it differently the moment it starts happening. I'm not going to wait for it to get stuck and stagnant to then address it in that Queen of Swords. It's like, no, I'm not going to sit around thinking about why it's not happening again. Instead, I'm going to use these new tools that I have as the magician to approach this differently. 9 of Wands and Queen of Pentacles and 7 of Cups. I like this. This is saying I'm not going to repeat the past pattern, right, the way these cards came out. I'm not going to repeat the past pattern of not saying anything or suppressing things for too long or appeasing the other side. Because of my knowledge, I look at all 4 queens. I don't read body parts. I read energy. The queens for me are forged through fire based upon the experience they've had in their respective card suits, okay? So I exist presently as a Queen of Pentacles based on my experiences, on how I invested my pentacle energy before. So armed with that, it's like now I can approach these delicate situations where I feel they've grown stuck and stagnant. I have now a plethora of different tools in that 7 of Cups on how I can communicate my my feeling here, like maybe I'm being disregarded or my skills are not being recognized at work. I don't have to suppress. Last time I suppressed and suppressed, it did not work out in my favor, right? I was left in the 4 of Cups. I was now in this, again, using work as an example. I'm in a work environment that is no longer beneficial to me. And now I've let it go on for so long that all I feel now is resentment and rage towards my boss. It makes for an unhealthy work environment, right? So it's like based upon that, I don't want to repeat that pattern again. So I'm going to lean on the experience from this past job situation, this interaction that I had. And now I have a plethora of communication choices before me on how I can not completely abandon myself or the connection or the job the way maybe I did in the past. Because for some of you, when you were staying quiet, you were abandoning yourself. And then when you got fed up, you would abandon the connection. Now it's like you're more balanced in that Queen of Cups energy. Way more balanced now when it comes to how you're going to communicate wants, needs, and desires, and how you will resolve that when you feel that you're not receiving reciprocity in return. So who in your life is asking you to be open to cooperation? this past person or the current person. And I'm not saying they're asking you now to cooperate with them. It's they have taught you now that you can communicate in a different way, in a more balanced way, in a more cooperative way. I feel like that was the key or the lesson with this entity. So now it's time for you. What are the signs showing you that it is time to move forward? All this newfound confidence that you have in yourself based upon the experience you had with this individual. Whether you realize it or not, you are now armed with communicative tools you did not previously have before this person. Okay, I think that's your full message here. Let's get you 3 cards of advice. So the tarot card of the week is what signs are showing you that it is time to move forward. You, the signs within you, this feeling of, I now understand what reciprocity is. I'm thanking the current person or the past person, right? Internal to me. I'm not telling you to call the person, but internal to you, I'm thanking them for this lesson. I now know what real cooperation is. I know what real reciprocity is. And next time I'm faced with this, either with them or with someone else, I'm going to approach it differently. I'm going to address it in a different way. And I'm going to address it at the onset of the lack of reciprocity. I'm not going to allow it to build up. So yes, you can now safely move forward with this connection. By safe, what I mean is in terms of your communication style. You can now safely move forward with this connection or with other connections in your life because you have become a better communicator. Thanks to that connection, whether they're in your life or not, they're a little irrelevant to the reading. This is understanding what this entity had to teach you. And what they had to teach you was not just reciprocity, but how to effectively communicate that and advocate for yourself so you can receive it in return. 3 cards of advice here for Scorpio. Thank you. We have Temperance, which is balance. It's a balanced approach, a moderate approach. Strength card, and the 7 of Pentacles. Bottom of the deck, the 10 of Swords. The old way of communicating is over. Look at that. We have the 10 of Swords, the Queen of Wands, and the World card. We have the World card here twice. So the way you communicated in the past, when maybe you felt backstabbed or betrayed or, not receiving reciprocity, the way of showing up that way, being fiery or being angry or being a bit aggressive, I feel like the lesson here is we don't have to address it that way. Temperance is moderate. Strength is a quiet force. And 7 of Pentacles is having the perseverance to be an advocate for yourself. But again, we're not being an advocate in a crash and burn kind of way. We're being an advocate in a more tempered and mild way, knowing healthy boundaries, knowing how to defend ourselves. I love this, Scorpio. You have I was going to say the Scorpio card, you have the Death card, you have the Queen of Cups, and you have the 6 of Wands, and there you have the Lovers card. So through this heartbreak, again, whether this person is still in your life or not, through the heartbreak or the setback, you now will be able to verbalize your wants, needs, and desires, your request for reciprocity, and to be able to address them in a more efficient way. This person's reason in your life was basically to get you to transform how you communicate, what it is that you want, and to advocate for yourself when you're no longer receiving it, or you see a decline in reciprocation from that entity. So now it is time that you can cooperate through effective communicative means. That is what I have for you for the week of December 21st, 2025. If you like that message, it resonates with you, you want to claim all or part of it, please be sure to click like, share, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to hype the video if you're able to do that. If you're celebrating any holidays this week, I'd like to wish you a very happy holiday season. Until I read for you again, I'm wishing you light, love, and peace.